Well, Elizabeth Kulik, right? Prohatch.com. Well, you're the only person I think I've found, studying this, crowdfunding universe that really has a bigger mission than any of these other crowdfunding sites that I've ever seen. I mean, you really feel that crowdfunding is something that anybody doing anything in life really has to know about it, whether you're a city planner or you're going to build houses or start a company or just start a business out of your home, aren't you?
We do. And just like everybody knows about debt, everybody knows about how to get a bank loan, how to find an investor. Crowdfunding is another source in that pool. It's absolutely very versatile.
But you're really there to help people do it a little differently through phases, it seems. I mean, there's more than one way. I mean, so you don't, hey, I need $1 million, and you don't get it by Thursday and the game's not over, that you are teaching people.
Well, actually, yes. Yes. And actually, that's a different feature of our platform than a lot of the crowdfunding platforms. We do not believe that funding happens in a vacuum, and we do not believe it's a single event. So funding is about performance, and it's about pricing, and it's about getting the job done. So we were very concerned that in a lot of the crowdfunding sites, people give you money and they never hear from you again. And I don't know about you, but
I got ex-wives like that, right?
Right? That only works with my kids. So. So we built into our process two things. One, a phased approach that's built on pro forma. So, real numbers underneath that associated with real activities. We know them as sources and uses tables, if you will. And then post-funding milestone reports. So after you receive your funding, you designate when you're going to report. And you report back. How did you use the money? Were you successful?
But it's really building the relationship with that person who's giving you money, man. It's not like, bim, bam, thank you, ma'am, right?
Exactly. It's not a one-time event, and it's a very strong relationship.
And that allows, I would think, any, particularly small organization to build a better platform to grow onto something else and to, instead of just sitting a sack of money and nothing to do,
Absolutely. And with tangible results, because they've actually said, here's what we're going to do, and here's how we're going to report back to you after we do it. So it's a dialogue. It's a real.
But also the people on your site now. I mean, you're really brand new in this business, it seems, right? But and the people are just fascinating projects. I mean, this guy who is sort of like, it's a wonderful life for mortgages, isn't he?
Well, and actually, when you think about that, I'll give him a plug. This is a gentleman who's been in the securities business for many, many years and has great experience in what he does. He's not a youngster, and he's quite well schooled. What he did was develop a mortgage project, or is in the process of doing, is developing a mortgage project that stays at a 15-year increment. So where the mortgage industry wants to sell you a longer-term mortgage, because guess what you're paying? Interest. But when you do the math, a 15-year mortgage actually is a considerable amount of capital that you aren't expending on your home. So, that's what we're trying to look for. What are really very efficient and strong solutions that can bring back resources into the community.
But also, he's not going to throw the money out after he gets the mortgage to somebody else who's going to gamble with you.
No, and following all mortgage standards. So
but that's why it sort of seems like Jimmy Stewart, and That's a Wonderful Life. You can go down to his place and he's got the mortgage.
He'll get the mortgage. But when you think about it, home ownership, multifamily rental is really popular right now. Because a lot of what's happened in this last go-round, it's going to be a long time before people actually acquire a home in order to create their wealth. So, when you look at this, home ownership in the United States is really an important aspect of our culture, and it can happen anywhere.
But if you don't have good property stuff going on in your culture, what the hell can you do?
Well, you're not going to fuel your economy with construction. You're not going to fuel you're not going to fuel all of the growth that we saw in 2002, which was fundamentally built on what happened in really building out communities in real estate. So we need to have that.
You're after nonprofits too, and people to help them. Like this wonderful lady, I think it was a woman who's helping cancer victims and raised like $13,000 for an app for people sitting getting chemotherapy or something.
Well, actually, and what her project was about health and wellness. So what she brought into the healing process, and she has a program that she works with hospitals. It's very exciting. She brings art into the healing process.
See. Wow.
So, right? So now think about, let's say, we'll use this as an example. It's a perfect example. She has a non-for-profit on that where she's developed a whole series of teaching modules and programs that she brings to hospitals. So
for
that's
the patients or for the staff?
Both, because learning how to use this as an actual healing vehicle and component of healing takes training. So it's not an arbitrary thing, and there's very documentable results. She's actually running a study with a big Los Angeles hospital. So now you're bringing in what in the medical industry is actually being looked at very carefully from a profit and corporate. What are we going to do?
A lot of money in the health field.
Right. So you can see very quickly how an organization that has a not-for-profit mission also aligns with the commercial side of what's going on in our everyday lives. I mean, we look at it and say every single person lives, works, plays, learns, and we add give and invest to that statement. You know,
so that's what your platform now will not only be the donation reward where you can come in and start a little business, or like her for a nonprofit to start, right? And it was money she didn't have to get back, but also you're going to have equity and loans on your site too.
Absolutely, because it's a supply chain, and we look at it as a capital ladder. So that $10,000 that you get in your first rewards campaign is actually, you know, oddly statistically about the amount it takes to start an entity.
I see.
So, but now you're gonna put that money to work. But now you're ready for your next stage of capital, and that comes after you.
So if you come back to you and go in and find fat cat investors or something like that.
Who already know you, who are already familiar with what you've done because you've proven your model in the rewards scenario. Be it social, be it commercial.
So this
and now you have a conversation and a real relationship built so that you're not just starting from ground zero every single time you go out.
When you come in and start small and get that 10 grand for your first phase, then you come back and you need 300 grand and you've proven your success, people know you, and you're more likely.
Now you're ready for investors. So
and then when you would come back and you need 5 million to do something real big, you're there to lend them the money.
Exactly. And you know it as well as I do that's the corporate balance sheet. You know, there's debt, there's equity, and there's revenue. So, you know, that's what we see when we look at crowdfunding. You know, rewards is about getting your revenue started. You know, great stories about, you know, kind of the lottery tickets projects who came in for small dollars and made millions and millions of dollars because customers wanted what they had.
But also on your site, you give sort of like consulting kind of advice too, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Again,
this has been, I mean, everybody involved with this site too seems to be professional consultants with many years of experience with the fat cats.
Well, they were not fat cats from the inside. Let me tell you that. But very hard, very very rigorous environments where quality is really important. And, you know, we have a lot of, you know, we've been with companies like FTI and Grubb & Ellis. My partner ran Ernst & Young's global real estate advisory practice, actually founded it and built it into a $400 million business. You know, I've transacted on over $75 billion worth of corporate real estate assets.
That would be fine, thank you.
So it's, you know, we understand how all of it works. So when we look at this piece, it's not just going to sit off here on its own. It can fit in because that's the real key to it for us. Is this is an incredible source of alternative capital, but if it stands by itself and doesn't allow whomever is using it to get to the next stage in that trajectory, what good is it? So that's what.
Well, you're a great place. I mean, sort of like to start your birth in changing your life. It seems.
Well, you know, it could have been a bed and breakfast.
Start small and grow to the biggest person, honestly, in the world. Right. The kind of stuff that you're going to be offering in your site. And so to find you, it's ProHatch, ProHatch.com, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Come and see us. We would be really excited.
And actually, the projects now, you got to see this guy standing on his hands.
Well, and you know what's fun about that?
What?
He's gotten a huge amount of response to his yoga, and
I
he's a
see.
yoga teacher.
Oh, really wonderful.
Exactly.
Right.
So when we say people live, work, play, and learn,
That's the way
live
to
and
live.
invest, here's a fellow who is now,
Absolutely.
because of his yoga,
Yoga.
a lot of people who would not have been interested in mortgages
Right.
saw what he had to say, and it's brilliant. You know, it's his own reality show.
Well, you want to live, work, and play at prohatch.com, right?
Give and invest. Give and invest.
And invest, right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Take
Matthew.
care, Elizabeth. Bye.
Bye-bye.